Hello everybody, and hello Joe. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you, Brendan?
I'm doing okay. It's been a minute. How you been doing, Joe?
I am good. I'm in drafting mode.
I see. What are you working on?
I'm working on the fifth book in the Hybrid Helix called Eyes of Empire. So it's the way I motivate myself, which I don't recommend, is I booked a slot with my editor for a date before I started writing the book because she gets booked up months in advance. So I said, okay, I'll take this date and I'll get the book done, right? But I don't have a word written when I do that, which is not smart. So now I'm really under the gun, and then I lost like 2 weeks because I don't want to call it writer's block, but I was just busy with stuff. So all of a sudden I realized, wow, I have to hit like 3,000 words a day to get this book done on time, which is going to be rough. So it's rough, but it's my own fault. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So yeah, so I'm in drafting mode. So every spare minute, I'm like thinking about the next thing I'm writing, or I'm writing it. I still have a day job, you know. It's not like I'm not working. Like if I was writing all day, 3,000 words a day is very doable, but with a day job, it's hard. So
hmm Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I'm working on my next thing and trying to trying to edit A Plague of Nightmares. It's fun stuff.
did you get Plague of Nightmares to beta readers yet?
I've sent it to like some good friends of mine, but I don't know if I would consider them beta readers. Maybe some of them.
You got to find people who read your genre,
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah,
especially writers,
yeah,
because
definitely.
if you like, well, first of all, congratulations on the year. I should have started with that. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Yes, but like my experience was, I had like friends who meant well, but weren't really like readers of my genre, who had a lot of feedback that wasn't useful. Like how, because they're looking at what would make this book interesting to me, and fundamentally it was write a different book, but that's not the answer you want, right?
Yeah.
How do I make this book, this thing that I'm trying to do, work for the people who like this sort of thing? So you need to find people who like that sort of thing and know some. I find that my most helpful beta stuff came from other writers, not all of it, but
Yeah. I need to hang out with more indie writers. I'm really bad at that. Like I've started hanging out with Andrew D. Meredith. He's a cool guy.
he is a cool
Um,
guy. Andrew's super helpful.
he
Very
might be
good.
one of the smartest writers I've met so far that I've talked with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I talk to Andrew regularly. He reached out to me. I think we were both in Spiffbo 8.
Mm.
I think that's how it started. Oh man, I used to know this. But
Speaking of your book, I'm hoping, or speaking of the Hybrid Helix, I'm gonna see if I can try and fit this in February. Um, at least this year, and I'll let you know what I'm
there you
thinking.
go.
I'm reading Andrew's book Thrice right now, and I'll
Yeah.
admit it's kind of discombobulating me a little bit because he sent me the ebook, and I'm not used to reading on ebook. So
Ah,
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I'm hoping to read Wistful Ascending
there you
sometime.
go. Good. I hope you enjoy it.
I thought you would enjoy me saying that. Oh,
Okay.
I'm not gone yet. I have a beer to finish
Yeah,
first. Of course,
yeah,
of course, of course. And
that's good.
thank you, Darko, for congrats on 1 year. Go check out Darko's channel. He just started. He's a cool guy.
Kindles and kicks.
I'm not a shoe person, but
What's a shoe? I was thinking martial arts kicks. Okay. I'm old. I'm old. I don't call them kicks.
yeah, you don't call him
Hey,
kicks. Hello, Amanda. How are
Amanda,
you?
how
Hey,
you doing?
sorry, I had two things going at once. I heard a bunch of echoes. Now I'm good. Now I can hear y'all.
Your hair's on the frizzy side tonight.
Yeah, I'm very tired.
Yeah.
That and the background's blurred because my room's messy, so it kind of gives this like little halo. Like if I go like that, you can see it kind of goes away.
That's a great idea. I've never thought of doing that.
Yeah, you can do it on Streamlab. It just blurs the background.
That's
And
awesome.
my camera attached to my computer, my webcam does it too. But you can also do a virtual
Oh,
background. Let me see if I can find a picture and get a virtual background.
Hey, I blurred mine. That's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Virtual background. Let's find. I'm gonna upload something crazy.
I live with the messiness.
Yeah. Gotta do
Oh,
what
I've
you
seen
gotta do.
this before.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm gonna be. It's probably gonna be just a bunch of banging, but we'll see.
I am no fan of Jordan Peterson, but I like a neat room despite that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Peterson's weird, man. I don't know what to make of him.
I'm trying to get my virtual background, but it's being weird. Hold on. I'm gonna get a good one. Yeah. Can I move it? There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Boom.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah,
Rangers.
go Rangers.
Yep.
Oh wait, Joe, are you a baseball fan? You like the Yankees?
I don't care.
It's been a long wait. We're still reveling in it.
I don't watch team sports anymore.
Fair
I
enough.
used to a little bit, but I kind of stopped. I still watch people punching each other in the head as long as that's the sport.
So like MMA?
Yeah, MMA. I'll watch some kickboxing if I can get it. Stuff like boxing if I, on occasion, but like not so much like hockey. I'm like, if you're gonna punch each other, just make that the thing. Don't just do it on the side. Nothing against hockey. I mean, if people are into that, that's great.
I was talking about MMA the other day with some friends from my college or some classmates, and I was like, and they were like, "Yo, like I've heard Conor McGregor is like getting into politics." I'm like, "Oh God, that's gonna."
If you want to watch MMA, you can, but I recommend you don't spend too much time getting into like the things the fighters say on the side.
I know.
Because the kind of person who becomes a good professional fighter isn't necessarily like the brightest dude.
Yeah, no, I see like these guys and they look all beat up and cauliflower.
I feel like if you get punched in the head enough, that's gonna have some impact on your intellect.
Yeah, and a lot of them have like
getting hit in the head.
The worst possible takes on everything. And I'm just like, oh, I really like this fighter. And then I find out what he thinks about like, is the earth flat? And I'm like, oh, I didn't want to know that. I didn't want to know that this guy is like, oh yeah, there's a wall at the end of the earth and you can see it. And I'm like, no, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I just want to watch you fight. Like let's limit our relationship.
Speaking of getting hit in the head repeatedly, I saw this really funny meme. Me and Britain are Cowboys fans. So somebody asked Roger Staubach if his 1977 team would beat the current Dallas Cowboys. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Staubach was like, yeah, but it would be close, like 10-7. They're like, why would it be so close? Well, most of us are in our 70s or 80s by now, so Kindles and kicks, go Cowboys. That's right.
No, yo, Matt been struck. I saw Matt's review the other day, and I was like, I don't know if Matt's still here, but I mean, it was like the most modern like take on Conan that I've ever seen. I was just like, oh God,
I didn't see it. What did he say?
He didn't really like it. It was, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. It was one of his hot take reviews, and I was like, okay.
I've never tried it, but I have read pulp before. Like I've read Andre Norton and all that, but I've never read Conan.
Get like Raph going like an angry rant in the comments, like that's not pulp,
I just
not pulp. Maybe John Carter of Mars.
I guess you can.
John Carter of Mars is pulp, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's probably what I was thinking.
That's a more canonical case than Andre Norton. Andre Norton, I think you can make the argument, but Andre Norton's not really Conan-like. That's the thing. Like maybe they're both pulp, but I wouldn't be like, oh, you like Ruby Howard? Try Andre Norton next. Like I wouldn't, go there.
Do you know Andre Norton is a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll admit I actually just found that out from watching Tori talk about it, and I'm like, what? It was a woman?
Yeah.
That was just gender neutral enough, I guess.
What have I read of her? It's been so long.
Gender neutral. Just go by Sam. That's like the most gender neutral name there is. Or Cameron.
Someone suggested I use my initials to be more gender neutral as an author, to like not give preconceptions to readers, and I'm like, I tried that, but then I'm on Twitter and I'm on YouTube, and I'm like, it's not going to work. And anyone who pays any attention is going to fit. And then my face is on the Amazon author page. I'm like, all right, forget it.
Oh, we got Tharnall. He's
I don't use initials or anything. I do know people who do though, but I don't.
Yeah, when I publish, I don't.
Well, back this off the Jordan Peterson fans. I have to see this review.
C.L. Moore. Yeah, I've not read her, but I know of her. She did the I think Northwood Smith, I believe.
I was talking with my friend the other day about how there's not many like debut epic fantasies coming out in TradPub. So he asked me this: how long do y'all think that the whole romantasy fad will last? You think it's going to go the way of dystopia, YA dystopia, or do you think it's going to stick around to stay?
I don't know. I mean, I know there's probably people. I actually just recorded my last bit for the first "What's the Big Fuss," so I'm hoping to
for Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing. So yeah, I'm gonna put that up on Wednesday.
Like I know epic. I mean, it was because of Game of Thrones why so many of those epic fantasies were published in the 2010s. But now it's like romantasy is the huge big thing, and like so many are being published just one after another. And it was like that with dystopia for a while. 5 years is usually how long these things take. My guess, Rafe, was through 2026-ish was going to be that's sort of my guess. When it's going to go the way of the Hunger Games.
Man, I'm so bad at like paying attention to like books right now. Like I'm trying to catch up on all the stuff I've been missing. Yeah. It's like I'm about to read In Cold Blood this upcoming month, so I'm looking forward to that. Doing it as
I started but didn't finish, but it was a while ago.
And Kindred. I'm really looking forward to Kindred, actually.
I need to read that one.
Butler is one of those people like Le Guin that I've wanted to try for a very long time.
I read Kindred.
Wait, have you read Kindred, Joe?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
What I thought of it.
Oh, you looked kind of confused there for a minute.
I don't remember what I thought of it. A while ago. I think I liked it, but I don't think I loved it. But I have a narrow taste.
It's time travel, I think. Like she goes back to be a slave or something. And she has to save her ancestor, who's like the white plantation owner. Okay, but that wasn't traditionally published.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They do so well. They do really well in self-published, but it's really rare nowadays. Because I was trying to find because we were talking, I was like, name one epic fantasy that's come out since 2020 off the top of your head. He was able to name one. I couldn't name any. It was all in
the newest epic fantasy I read that was new. It's probably Black Leopard, Red Wolf from Marlon James. That was in
Black
2019.
Leopard, Red Wolf. I've not heard of that one.
That was in 2019, though. So take that as you will.
Well, it sounds like a cool name. So Black Leopard.
Oh, shit, kitty.
I spelled leopard wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good book. It's a good one.
The Dark Star. 2019. Oh, it's an Africa thing. Cool. Long. I'm not super. Oh, here's your review, Britton.
Oh yeah, I wrote a review.
Yeah, I'm not super into African-inspired anything, to be honest.
No?
I like European and Latin America.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll admit I read Black Leopard, Red Wolf when I was trying to read stuff from trying to diversify my taste, if you will. I mean, there's a lot of great books written by white people, but
yeah,
I'm like, I need to broaden my horizons because I'm people of color can write great books too. We're not racist on some okie dude.
The last time I tried to broaden my horizon, it didn't work out. I tried to read John Scalzi, because I was
Oh,
trying to do sci-fi, adult sci-fi, and it just doesn't click with me.
yes, Raph. I
James.
remember seeing your video about that. I actually have that book up here. I don't know if I want to pull it out. I want to read that at some point.
I think the last Booker winner I read was Wolf Hall, and that was definite Booker bait, but I liked it.
Booker bait, like Oscar bait.
Pretty much. And then I read one that won the international Booker that I loved called At Night All Blood is Black, which
That's a cool
strangely was
title. I'll look
African
it up.
inspired. It's about a Somali warrior forced to fight for France in World War One.
Oh
And
yeah.
his best friend, who he calls his more than brother, was like disemboweled from a mortar or something, and he was begging him all night to kill him, but he couldn't do it. And so it's how he's like handles the trauma and goes crazy from all that. It's really short too. It's like 100 pages.
So fickle.
It's pretty intense.
I I think I know what you're talking about. I think the Gwen brothers covered that.
Yeah, they did. They did.
But
I read it before they did, so they're.
I imagine you would like their channel, Amanda, because they cover a lot of historical content on their.
No, I watch them. I like them.
They're also reenactors.
Yeah, but they're 15th century reenactors. That the 15th century is not my thing. I mean, no, I have not read that.
I have not read it, but I do have the Rage of Dragons over here. I don't want to pull it out though.
If you go to their channel, I think one of their oldest ones. Wait, the Gwen's covered a non-medieval book for real. But if you go on, I think just Ed, is he the little one? The little one.
Yeah, I think that's
the younger one. You go
or
on.
No, I think that's Will actually.
Okay, whatever. The little one, what I call him. You go onto his channel, and I just hit popular to see his oldest video is him doing the St. Crispin's Day speech in like full on uniform. It's so cute.
I'll have to check that one out.
So
yes, cute. I think they've covered a few non-medieval books at least when I've watched them anyway.
I need to read. Are you guys going to do Historathon, do you think? It's nonfiction history.
I don't know, maybe. What I don't know. What about you, Joe? I'll be like, what?
Am I going to read nonfiction history?
Well, it's like sectioned into 4 quarters. One of my friends got me into it. It's like prehistory to 500 AD, 500 to 1500, 1500 to 1820, and then 1820 to present. So, I don't know. I'm just obsessed with the Middle Ages. So, I've got recently tons of books about the Middle Ages. And I just discovered Crusader Kings too. So, I'm obsessed with Crusader Kings right now.
I don't read nonfiction. I think the world building sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not why I read. I have, I guess, read some nonfiction, but I try to avoid it.
You like the fiction with the dinosaurs and evil sharks. I hear you.
I write with dinosaurs and evil sharks, but I'll read stuff without evil sharks.
Kindles and Kicks.
Evil sharks.
I have not read it, but it's on. It's Crusader Kings 3. I have it in my kitchen, Kindles and Kicks, but I have not read it. Have you read the Plantagenets? I have not.
I've heard of the Plantagenets. And of course,
I read a lot about the Normans.
And of course, Raph is reading things I have never heard of in my life.
Reformations is I have not.
Raph's on the edge of turning his channel into a PhD dissertation defense thrown into the void.
Yeah.
Make a claim about stuff, and he's going to defend it, and he's going to do the same thing as if there were a group of people in front of him, giving him a pass-fail on the PhD, but there's no one there except us, like people like me, and I'm watching like, this is fantastic, but I can't give you the doctorate when you're done. I mean, I can send you an email or something, but.
Frank reads a lot of medieval stuff. Like, he just read the Hild series by whoever that woman is, the one who wrote Spear.
Oh yeah, American Zion is for the that's the Mormon history, right? History of Mormonism or something
I was
in
about
the
to be like,
U.S.
wait, is that Jewish?
Oh, cool.
No, I don't. I think Raph mentioned this. The only reason I know this was Raph mentioned it somewhere. It's not.
Oh.
I'm not knowledgeable on this topic, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I think Raph's getting ready to do his Sanderson takedown. I mean, his
Nicola
Sanderson analysis.
Griffith. Yeah, that's who that was.
Yeah, he's
I
like,
don't know. She's really good, but I just discovered Claire Keegan. Claire Keegan, I think, is the best effing writer around right now.
oh yeah, I forgot that Raph is deep diving into Mormonism.
Can I join?
Well, I mean, you can
Well,
ask
based
him.
on what I know about Mormonism, it's weird.
I do have Under the Banner of Heaven from John Krakauer. I hope to read that at some point.
I have his famous one about Everest. Into Thin
Oh, I
Air,
forgot.
maybe?
Yeah, I
I think
think
it's
you're
called
right.
Into Thin Air.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm trying to catch up on some of the popular stuff that YouTubers keep talking about. I'm actually reading Red Rising.
Oh yeah, how are you enjoying that?
It's not as bad as I expected it to be.
Sci-fi.
It's slightly YA, and I generally dislike that, but it has some redeeming qualities. Some. I'm not going to tell
I was about
everyone.
to say, I think Raph has a personal stake because he did manage to talk to Nicola Griffith, which is pretty cool.
I watched that.
I had an author who likes my written reviews offer to let me read her book, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, see, Rafe, I'm more into like the high Middle Ages, like like 1066 to when would we say the high Middle Ages ended? I don't know. Probably at the start of the 100 Years' War. The first book is YA. Just wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Anglo-Saxon and the King of Wessex. I don't know that much about, but literally I can name from 1066 onward in order all the kings and queens of England until like the Stuarts. That's how obsessed with it I got.
I know John Minton likes Red Rising. So maybe.
Tori's the one who talks about it in like the most glowing terms. Tori Tucker.
Oh yeah.
That's where I became aware of it through her. I'm not saying she's the only one, but
I saw somebody on the last plane I was on reading Morningstar, maybe.
Yeah, they're popular. They're super.
Yeah.
Part of it is I'm curious to read some of the more popular things for the sake of analyzing why they're popular, which is like a whole different way of looking at a book. Like, why do people like it? And part of it is like for my own marketing purposes. Like I'm not going to really write differently, but maybe I can write my ads differently or like something like that. So that's part of the reason. I want to read Sun Eaters for the same reasoning. Christopher Rocchio. That's getting a lot of buzz.
I was about to say, never change, Raph. Never change.
He says I'll have to try Guy Gabriel K. Yeah, I keep hearing that. The second part of the series is brutal. But there's always that open thing of like, just wait till book 5. It gets really good. And you're like, well, okay. Like the old Dresden story, right? Read the first 3, then it gets good. It's like, well, okay. That's great, but you're condemning me to a lot of bad reading to get to the good stuff. I don't say that. I actually like the first 3 Dresden, so I'm not. But people will.
Say, aren't you doing like a Dresden talk with Joe? Or the other one, the Joe
Carroll? I was on Joe Carroll's channel for like the last 2 or 3 Dresdens.
Oh no, that's The Witcher I'm thinking of.
We've been doing The Witcher from the start. I've been on a channel for The Witcher from the start. Dresden doesn't suck. Raph, you're too Raph, you don't appreciate populist escapism enough. You gotta just
about to pull out the Irene Konya and the Barbarian, so I know what I'm talking about.
And the glory of Dresden is you never have to wonder, wait, how sexually attractive are the female characters? I can't tell. You'll always know. You'll always get a long description every chapter. So I'm teasing. I mean, that's true, but that's not a positive.
Dang it! Sorry, I keep.
You get that with Ken Follett too. He just goes
Oh
on and on and
gosh,
on.
yeah, you can follow it.
Love it. Should read Sun Eater.
I don't know if I appreciate great literature, but I will read Sun Eater at some point.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not sure.
Might try Sun Eater.
That sounds very sci-fi, and me and adult sci-fi just have not vibed.
Oh, Rockio is sci-fi. I don't think there's any doubt there. Yeah, the Sun Eater stuff is sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, man, this year, last year went by pretty quickly. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought it went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did. I was busy.
You guys, you're like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
You're at that age, Britain, where it starts going by faster and faster and faster.
Yes, I'm getting there.
Childhood's end.
Yeah, I'm at that point. I don't know. You covered Cormac McCarthy on your channel, Raph. I'd call that great literature. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Anyway. Well, and I actually read Thomas Pynchon last year, and I know Raph likes Thomas Pynchon. I was like, I don't know what I would say if I did a video about it, because I don't know.
I went through a great literature phase in my youth, but I got over it.
I tried to read as widely as possible because there's always good stuff, and I would just get burned out if I read one genre. I mean, there are the genres I like, of course. Not the.
Yeah. I end up reading a lot of stuff written by friends of mine.
I can imagine, you run in the indie sphere. I'm trying to read more indie stuff. I'm reading Thrice right now, which is, it's pretty good.
I just finished Fourscored, which is Thrice's sequel. And I know a third one hopefully will come out this year. I mean, the thing about, both because they're my friends writing books, so I want to support them, so I want to read their books and say nice things about them. And then also, so a lot of times I'm beta reading someone's, nearly complete indie book. And Jim Butcher's not calling me to beta read the next Dresden novel, so if I'm beta reading something, it's an indie. Yeah, I have all three around here somewhere. This is two. This is, I think, one. I just reread them because we were going to do a talk about them.
Yeah, I still need to set that up. Sorry, Joe. I know it's been.
No, it's fine. You gave me an excuse to reread Invincible. I'm not complaining. I really like that series. Invincible is the number one inspiration from my books. The most direct inspiration.
Yeah, I actually have I have those same omnibuses back here. I don't want to pull them out though, because
I had a couple of the single volumes in hardcover. I got a couple, and then I gave up, and then I got the omnibuses.
This is the correct choice.
Yeah, I did it last year. I did it in October.
Oh yeah,
and then Thornall, I really liked the show.
Oh yeah, show's great. I still need to watch the first half of season 2 though, because I was gonna do it over the holiday season, and then I didn't. Oh.
If you like Invincible, which apparently you do, the show is, if anything, maybe slightly better. He changes some things around, changes some pacing, some characters. It's like The Boys. I thought The Boys show was better than the comic, and I like the comic. I'm not saying this is a hater. Which makes sense. I mean, you write a story, and then you've got several years to think about it, and then you come back and do the animation. You can mix some things up and hit some points in a different way. So.
I mean, I was pretty pleased. I got Tharnall to read Sweet Tooth last year, and he told me he really enjoyed that. So
and that was a Netflix show, wasn't it? Or am I confused?
What?
Sweet Tooth.
That's Jeff Lemire. It's a comic.
Did they make a show of it?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet though.
Well, I didn't see it. I just remember. Okay, yeah, I'm right. They made a show of it. It's on Netflix.
All right, take care, Raph.
Yeah, Raph. Good night.
Where are you that it's 2 a.m.? Jeez.
In Germany.
Oh.
It's in Germany.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I remember when I first talked to him on my podcast. I'm like, so where are you at anyway? And he's like, Germany. And I was like, oh shit. All right. It's like, okay.
There are parts of Germany where people speak English that I find almost unaccented.
Yeah, I know. It's like, huh? Like I thought he was like British or something. I don't know.
But Raph's English is like
Could have I kind of thought he was Canadian.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it was like American English, but a little bit different.
But so close. Like it's so easy to, well, I'm just very close.
Wait, I got somebody to read Sweet. Wasn't it you, Thurnall? I thought it was Tharnall. He did read Black Hammer too, and he really enjoyed that.
My grandmother spoke Texas German, which is evidently that's just German with an American accent.
Oh.
But
what's that?
No, there's a huge German population in Texas, and they came over and they had their slave plantations and all that stuff for years and years and years. And then like the German that they speak just kind of developed into its own dialect.
Yeah.
I am not Canadian. Canadians think I'm a woke communist. Well, then imagine what Americans think of you, right?
Raph outed me as a socialist on his channel, apparently. We did an interview, and he titled it something like, is Wistful Ascending a Socialist Paradise? And I'm like, okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I got Astro City right here. I want to read it soon because I like Kurt Busiek. And I wanted to read Astro City for a while. And luckily they got this nice omnibus here that I got at a con.
The Boys does a lot of stuff for shock value. And I get tired of that. Like, I liked it. I mean, but there's like a point where they're like, look, these superheroes they have superpowers that makes them terrible people. Like, here, we're going to show you how terrible they are in graphic detail. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I have a similar. It does go a little bit over the top, but I do love me some Billy Butcher though. He's a great character.
There's some great characters and storylines in there. I'm just feel at the points I'm like this. I've had enough. I go another orgy, okay, another rape scene, okay, all right.
There's like one where like the speedsters are like gang banging at a brothel. I'm like, okay.
I love that stuff. It cracks me up. Yeah. It's like guys read like to laugh. I've noticed guys read like, I don't know, Terry Pratchett, Guards. Like those are supposedly y'all guys' funny book, like Empire or Guide to the Galaxy or whatever that is. Those funny books.
The Galaxy.
Yeah. Like I think that's like boy erotica. Like it's just mindless fun stuff. That's what erotica is. I love those crazy sex scenes. They crack me up.
Oh man, the deep. Oh, I've been kind of, if you remember on some of my podcasts, I was trying to like cope with the fact that I kind of feel bad for the deep, even though I probably shouldn't. And I'm like, man,
that's one thing that makes the show good, right? Like these guys are terrible, but you feel some sympathy for them.
I was about to say, I would say the deep is better than I would say the deep is better in the show than in the comic. Because in the comic, he's just kind of there, and he wears like this, like he looks like a Scooby-Doo villain.
I think we're talking about the show and not the comic, because I agree. I don't remember him being anything in the comic, but the show he had like some seriously interesting storylines. He's just so dumb.
Wait, what'd you say?
He's just so dumb.
Oh yeah. He is an idiot. He's not the brightest of the crew.
So Britain, Joe, anyone in the chat, y'all going to AWP coming up in a couple days? Week and a half?
Probably not. I'm gonna be doing college stuff.
What is AWP?
It's like the biggest writing conference. I can't remember what it stands for, like Association Writers and Writing Programs, and it's the big writing convention conference where they have panels and all that kind of stuff. It's on the 7th and it's in Kansas City this year. And I'm going. Last time I went was 2020. Well, that's the only time I've gone, which was like the week before lockdown.
Oh, this sounds cool. What kind of stuff do you do there?
There's a book fair, and there are a bunch of like, I'm really tired, so my mind's going blank. Where you go and you sit and you listen to people, kind of like at Comic-Con panels.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and they have all different subjects. So, I'm going to one about death, writing about death that I'm really excited about. There's going to be a caucus for community college professors and stuff. So hopefully I can slide in there and see if I can get a job at a community college. Get the hell out of teaching high school. But
Where do you teach high school?
Southeast Dallas.
I taught high school for 12 years.
Yeah. It's an experience.
Oh, wow, you're
in my neighborhood.
You were in the war zone there, Joe.
I was in the war zone.
So am I.
Yeah.
Where were you, inner city?
I was like probably the poorest neighborhood in Baltimore.
Oh, that's probably worse than Southeast Dallas.
I think so.
That might be worse.
Did you watch The Wire? Was that like your experience?
The Wire is insanely accurate to what life was like in those areas, with the sort of like there were every character in The Wire. I'm like, I knew people like that.
Yeah.
The kids I taught weren't like the dealers, but they were their siblings. They had those guys in their families.
Have you ever had a student ask if you could contribute to their bail?
No. I've had some weird experiences. Not that.
I did not that long ago. This guy, his brother comes in. He's like, my brother's on the phone because like they're twins, so I knew who he was. And he was like, my brother wants to talk to you. So I was like, hello. He goes, can you contribute to my bail? We got it down to like $900. So I was like, well, how would I do that? He goes, you can just Venmo my mom some money. And I did.
You did? I didn't know what
to do. It'd be like, didn't make a difference, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I've broken up a few fights.
I got my job because someone broke up a fight and she got hurt and had to go on like leave teaching profession. Yeah. That's how I got my first position as a teacher. And the first thing they said is don't break up any fights. Although I did once.
I did. I only did one. It was a girl fight over a boy. But no, I got my first job because the teacher quit for mental health reasons.
You get a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know, it can be, like mace.
Oh my God. We had this huge like war my first year, the day of state testing, between the volleyball team and the cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, because they were saying the volleyball team was saying that cheerleading wasn't a real sport. And they were getting all their like little friends involved and just spiraled into just talking crap about each other all over Instagram. And so the morning before school, there is this huge fight in the cafeteria. We go into lockdown. And all of a sudden I see Miss Shellstead. She's on the phone. She's got her phone, and all I hear is, we got parents. And then next thing I know, the parents somehow made it into school, and we're starting to fight with each other.
Oh, dear.
The moms.
When our principal came in and you know, we had dress codes, and the dress codes were all about keeping gang colors out of the school.
Yeah. We have dress codes.
That insecurity, because if the kids are in some kind of uniform, presumably you can't just walk in off the street and like blend in, because you're not, some random stranger's not going to be in the school uniform. So they called in a parent to try to talk to the parent that this kid has been like wearing the gang colors and like we think they're involved with gangs. Parent comes in wearing the gang colors.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's the end of that.
Oh, and it's 105 degrees out there, and they're still in their hoodies and.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
Or the day where you put in the metal detectors, and then like I remember our assistant principal going out. They put him in for one morning. It was a surprise. So he went out. He went through the bushes in front of the school, and he filled like 2 milk crates with weapons.
Oh yeah. No, we get guns all the time, and we actually had somebody get fired a year and a half. Yeah, my first year, because she confiscated a gun from a kid and gave it back at the end of the day. Yeah.
How's it going, Bert? It's Bird. He's a G. I've seen him in seen him on Twitter and on a couple of live streams. So yeah. Hope you guys
I think I'm gonna hop off because I gotta eat. So.
All right, I can chill out here by myself for a bit.
I'm sorry, Britton. I have to leave in like 5 minutes.
All right. Well, you take care, Joe. Thanks for coming on. I can hold down the fort for a little bit.
You can hold down the fort. All right, man. Well, congratulations on the year. It's really fantastic.
Thank you, Joe. It went by a lot faster than I thought it would. But thank you, Joe, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Of course.
As always.
I'll talk to you later.
You wear that same jacket every day?
Yeah. Pretty much.
All right.
Take care.
Oh. All right. And now we are here. Helena, thank you for the congrats. Also, that's ridiculous. No, don't be sorry, Bert. We're all fun games here. Long time, Britain. How's school? It's going good so far. It's college is one of those weird things because like you have to like, you get used to the routine and then it's over. And you're just like, oh damn it. I'm in that stage right now where I'm just starting to kind of, get my groove on, Ugh. I mean, Mike, I can't. Yeah. I'm good. I mean, I hope people are happy because I missed chatting with Nuts for I didn't realize well, I mean my it's called professional media, but really it's journalism what I'm going for because I like writing and I'm thinking of going for a creative writing minor, but I don't really love my I don't really care for the guy who is like the guidance counselor, whatever you call those in college. Thank you. I appreciate that. Which one was that? Was that my recent review of Republic of Thieves? Because like that one got a little ranty. I accidentally started or was it just the worst books of the year that I did? Because that was a fun one to make, surprisingly. Yeah, get ready for next week. I did just record the final bits of my What's the Big Fuss, which is a new series where I talk about popular books. Oh, hello, Helena. I didn't know you were still here. My major is writing related. What are my plans for next year? Well, for this year anyway, I got a couple. I'm doing What's the Big Fuss, which is the first episode's coming out this next Wednesday. Hopefully doing more streams. I want to read more indie books. I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read more, I guess. I'm also trying to read more indie books because those have been kind of blowing up, and I want to see what I want to see what all the fuss is about. Kind of going back to What's the Big Fuss. So yeah, yeah, it was fun. I did the fourth wing, delaying sleep momentarily. Fair enough. I have to get up at 9:30 in the morning, or I have to get up at 9 tomorrow because I'm doing a chat with Raph and Philip about if fantasy is literature. Why or why not? I'm actually gonna probably work on that a little bit, some stuff for that while I'm after this is over. And I also have a stream for Sunday at 6 where I'm going to be doing my 50th episode of Britain's Hang It Hour, but it's just going to be me. And you can basically just ask me whatever you want. Will Brian Cahill be one? Well, I mean, if you want to put him on the What's the Big Fuss list, sure, you can. Yeah, I'll read him. I haven't read his. I mean, I'm not really planning to read him right now, but he is definitely on my list. I've seen a lot of my friends, like John Minton from Talking Story, talk about him, and I wanna read him. Yeah, he seems like he seems Abercrombie-y, so it seems kind of more my style. I have a couple of let me just pull some books out here. I have Wistful Ascending by Joe. You just saw him. We were talking a few minutes ago. And also A Hot Dose of Hell from Steve Stark, who's a cool guy. I really want to read. I'm hoping to read this in October, though, because this seems like a spooky book. And while I don't mind reading spooky books during the year, I like to really pig out on horror during the Halloween season. So, yeah, just going to put those up at the moment. What am I reading? Well, I am reading Thrice right now. I'm hoping to read that before January ends. I'm a little discombobulated because of the because Andrew D. Meredith gave me the ebook, and I'm not used to reading ebook. But I was actually reading it before this is over. It's pretty good. It's good. It's very Lone Wolf and Cub, like he said. I actually hope to have him on my channel at some point, and I can ask him about it. Soon I hope to be reading Kindred by Octavia Butler. Speaking of chatting with nuts, Jimmy was the guy who finally got me to pick this up and read it, and I heard this one's really good. And I'm also hoping to buddy read with Colin from Colin's Corner In Cold Blood from Truman Capote, which I've never actually read, though I do know what happens. It's so yeah, I'm kind of just aiming towards February right now, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading all those books. Yeah, I'm I don't really use Audible all that much. I mean, I've listened to the First Law books on my like in general, or just what I showed right now? Because I mean, those are kind of my genres I kind of lean on. Let me see. Sci-fi. I mean, which also, speaking of, Helena, you asked me about plans. I started a new series called The State of Science Fiction, which is, kind of what it's, you can kind of gather what it's about from the title. My first episode was with Jason. While I was a little disappointed with I was kind of disappointed with the reception. I did enjoy that episode a lot, and Jason's always fun to talk to. So yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, it's definitely. But yeah, it's good. Okay, in general. So what order? Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, classic fiction, and literary fiction. That's just kind of my thing right now. I'll just go with that. Have you read books that take place in very big shared universes? I have in Star Wars. I have not tried like Warhammer or Forgotten Realms. I have played Baldur's Gate though. And I've heard of Warhammer. I was actually talking with Andrew D. Meredith about Warhammer the other day. He recommended I just start with like Gaunt. I think it's called Gaunt's Ghosts. He kind of said it was like sharp, so I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll have to pick that up. I'm reading Sandy Butcher Event Horizon. I've never heard of that book. A Hugo nominated book. That's interesting. I actually have a friend who votes for the Hugos. I think either Hugo or Nebula. I'm not entirely sure. Gaunt's Ghost. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he told me it was good, so I might pick that up because I'll admit I'm a little hesitant to get into Warhammer because it's like so big, and I'm like, dude, I can only take so much. Like, I already like Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who. Like, oh man, like Warhammer is just who's booktuber I enjoy watching the most? Oh man, I really like watching. I call him my kooky. Also, I'm friends with him, and I do call him my kooky uncle, booktube uncle. John Minton. I like watching him a lot. He's got a lot of fun stuff on his channel. He's a cool dude. Check out his channel, Talking Story. I enjoy watching Jimmy when he's on because Jimmy isn't really doing a lot of reviews now. Which, by the way, that reminds me, I need to really set up that conversation about the Scar. I do watch Mike, but I do have kind of I just think that Mike's book reviews and I just have different views on what we look for when we read, which is not a problem. I like hearing different perspectives. Who else? I watch Carlos and Yolanda from StoryTube. They're great people. I enjoy hanging out with them. Raph, of course. If you go up a little bit, you'll probably see him commenting. I like Philip Chase. Who else? I'm subscribed to a lot of people, but I'm really bad at keeping up with all the content. I do watch BellTube as well. Brian Bell. He's also a really cool guy. Yeah, Warhammer. It's about 500. Yeah. Okay. I've heard Dan Abnett is a good place to start when it comes to Warhammer. Also started watching Kindles and Kicks because he started watching my channel, and cool guy. Darko is his name, I think. He was on here earlier. He's a cool guy. Well, no problem, Helene. I'm glad to be of help. Oh yeah, and Jason, of course. I do watch Jason. Now, do I always agree with Jason? No, I think we disagree more often than we agree, but I like watching his channel. Oh yeah, and SFF 180. Thomas, he was probably one of my first. He's one of the first guys who really got me to like give BookTube a shot, like seriously. Also, I started with Daniel Green, but he doesn't do so much book content anymore. He is starting to kind of come back, but well, yeah, if you want to watch Daniel Green, you can watch Daniel Green. He's a cool dude. Or he seems like a cool dude. I've never actually met him. Like that's one person I would love to have on my podcast at some point. Yeah, no. Good. Yeah. I also watch Amanda as well when she was also on here earlier. She's cool. What's one of the books you and Mike disagree on? Well, it's not necessarily that can we get a rim shot? Maybe. We'll put that as maybe. I'll put that under maybe. But what's one of the books you and Mike disagree on? God. I don't know if it's necessary. Well, one of the books I disagree with him on is Blood Meridian. But on the one hand, I don't blame him for not liking Blood Meridian. I don't think that's a type of book he would enjoy anyway, because that book is very cerebral. It's very esoteric. I don't know if Mike is more like traditionally, story bait, and that's not a problem. That's fine. It's just kind of not necessarily. I just think our what we look for when we read are just very different. It's not necessarily that I think there's books he likes that I don't really care for. I have a similar thing with Matt from Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews. I mean, I like his channel, but I sometimes think he thanks, Helene. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, no. Sort of similar thing with Matt. I don't think he and I look for the same thing when we read, but I like his channel. I'm really impressed he can just sit there and just, express himself so eloquently without like a script or bullet points or anything. I mean, I can express myself, but I have to write bullet points. I mean, you might see in my videos, I look towards my screen. It's because I have bullet points. It keeps me on track. because, like, I mean, I can speak off the cuff. I mean, I'm doing it right now, but it's not something I generally hate watching those videos of myself because, like, I just like, oh god, just get to the point. But then again, I'm really hard on myself in general, so you know, you can take my opinion with a grain of salt. But going back to Matt, speaking of my rambling, I don't really have. Again, I think we just look for different things when we read. Like, I watched his Conan review the other day, and it was, there's sometimes I feel he's a little disingenuous with his reviews because, like, it's very, like, his Conan review, for example, is like very much like a modern day person reading Conan. You know, he's not real, and I don't really want to go to the excuse like he was a man of his time. I mean, there's some racist shit in Conan. I am not going to lie about that. There's racist shit in Solomon Kane, you know, and there's no excuse for that. There's no, you know, there's nothing I can really say to justify, because there's none. But I don't think, when I saw his video about Conan, I don't think Matt really saw the artistry of what Howard is doing. So it just kind of felt a little disingenuous to me. That was just me. And Helena, thank you for saying that. I appreciate you thinking that. I mean, oh god, I'm just taking shots tonight. I'm gonna get blackballed so bad. Oh Lord, I'm waiting for the people going like, you're just a hater. I'm like, dude, I was just talking about a few minutes ago. Like, I like Matt's channel. Like, I'm impressed that, seriously, he can just sit there and be like, I'm done. You know, like, he just takes off his mic and then just, you know, start talking about and express himself very clearly. Now, if I remember right, he says he works in politics. So I'm like, that makes a lot of sense why he speaks well in front of people. I'm sure he does that a lot in his job. So, you know. I haven't read Faulkner. Well, okay, I've read one of his short stories, and I tried one of his novels, and then I wasn't really in the mood for it, so I put it away. Also, I got it from my library, so I had to pay the fine for that. That wasn't fun. But yeah, I would agree. There's probably racism because, I mean, he was a dude from Mississippi. Like, that is like super racist. That is like super racist. Like, that is like the county of, like, you know, like that, like Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, maybe Alabama, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, probably. I mean, there's some sundown towns in Oklahoma. Like, you know, so yeah, I imagine there's racism in there. You know, I'm not gonna justify that. I have a lot of problems with the he was a man of his time argument, because you're just kind of like, well, you could just say that there were people in his time who didn't like it either. You know, you don't have to. But then again, you know, Robert E. Howard was writing pulps, you know? Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I don't know who's short. Are you talking about Faulkner or Robert E. Howard? Let me know. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that's necessarily fair, but at the same time, you kind of have to take that into account. You know, you're like, well, it's not good. But yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. And also, I like Matt. I also like Mike's channel as well. I don't want to make it sound like I don't like these people's channels. I think Mike's very good at what he does. I like his more. I mean, I wouldn't say he inspired me, but I definitely kind of took from his kind of, you know, he's sitting down, kind of like a bro, and like talking to you. I've been trying to get Mike on my podcast for a while. It's just, my God, it's hard to pin that man down. Like, to get him to, you know. Faulkner, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, what I read, I think it's Flowers for Emily. It's the one about the lady who sleeps with the corpse. Spoilers, in case you haven't read that. Oh yeah, I remember reading that story, and I was like, "Ooh, man, that is just, oh God, that is just not, oh my Lord, that was not fun to read, to be honest." It's like, oh God, what kind of, yeah, I know. When I read that, I'm like, oh my God, I mean, I will give props to that story though, that Howard, like, unlike Lovecraft, for instance, like Howard was at least a smart enough writer to make it where it was apparent this is what his characters think. It's not necessarily what he believes, which, I mean, I know that's not really a excuse, but I think that's a good way to go. I guess that's the mark of a good writer, I think. But yeah, I'll admit that was not the pleasant thing to read. That was not pleasant to read. Maybe, I don't know. I'm definitely gonna read some books from Black authors in February, like Octavia E. Butler. I don't know if I'll do I'm not against doing a romance book in February though. So I mean, send some recommendations my way. Maybe I'll pick one up. I mean, I'm not really on the fly. I mean, I am a mood reader, but I like to, like prepare a little bit before I, cover a book. I mean, what would be funny? Doing Lolita for a Valentine, just do the biggest like shit post and talk about Lolita on on Valentine's Day. That would be just, oh God, that would be peak. Yeah, he was doing, yeah, he was thinking that, but yeah. Again, I'm not gonna get into that, get into that. Farewell to Arms. Well, it's that is Hemingway. I've read The Old Man and the Sea from Hemingway. I think he's good. I like Hemingway when he is not being like the caricature. Like the caricature version of Hemingway. He's actually pretty good. That's Jane Eyre. Yeah, maybe I'd like those. Though, I do like more classic literature. I need the or Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, there's I actually had a guy on my podcast, Jake from the Cultured Bumpkin. He's doing a redneck reading of Pride and Prejudice right now. It's very good. I really enjoy it a lot. Also from Mississippi. February, we can make a bet if you finish it. I don't know if I'll finish Pride and Prejudice. Like, God, how long is that book? I don't even know. It's fun. Like, I know it's it's kind of like In Cold Blood. I know the story of Pride and Prejudice. I saw the Keira Knightley film, but I've never actually read the book. I know it's shocking. Oh, geez, yeah, that it's a thick boy. That might take a while. That might take a minute. Do I have some romance books back here? I don't think so. I mean, I'd be like, oh yes, get the toxic romance. Well, speaking of toxic romance, I did read My Dark Vanessa earlier this month. Oh really? I like the Keira Knightley version. I thought it was fine, but I'll check out the BBC adaptation at some point, if you say so. That a woman train. That actually doesn't sound too bad. And God, it's one of those books, kind of like Gravity's Rainbow. Where you're like, what is this? And this is a thick boy, and I need to really make a video about books I'm intimidated to read. Like, I have a couple on there, like Gravity's Rainbow, Infinite Jest. Well, there was Suttree for a while, but I ended up reading Suttree, and I have some thoughts on that. And I need to find a time to make a video discussing that. What else? Like Don DeLillo, maybe. Maybe Don DeLillo. I don't know. you know, I do like books that take me out of my comfort zone. So I mean, if you guys have books that, I mean, will do that, you can tell me. We no judgment here. I think I have one of Hemingway's books. I think it's The Sun Also Rises. I have read The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. I have not read Ulysses. Maybe someday I'll read it. But Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, I remember really enjoying that book. Okay, fair. I'll give you that. I mean, I'll be honest, Helena, I haven't seen it in a very long time, so that. I saw Jane Eyre was made into a movie by the guy who directed the first season of True Detective. There's this guy I watch called the Almighty Lowly who does like anime and like manga and other stuff. He called it Jane Eyre, and it bugged the hell out of me. He just called it Jane Eyre. I'm like, dude, it's Jane Eyre. Oh my gosh. I have heard of this book. I've heard a lot of things about this book. Maybe I'll read that at some point because I do have a passing interest in like Buddhist philosophy a little bit. I really need to get like a Buddhist for Dummies type of book at some point because, like, I mean, I'm probably not going to convert. Maybe I'll ask Matt about it. Matt's a Buddhist, isn't he? Or maybe Philip as well, because like, isn't Way of Adan based on Buddhism? I didn't know you were such a Hemingway buff, Bert. Quite. It's interesting. Jane Eyre, the Halloween adaptation. Yeah, I know. It bugged me to all get out. I mean, that's another one I've never read that I don't actually know the story of. And I'll admit, I always got that mixed up with Pride and Prejudice because, like, they're both like gothic romances. They're written by women, I was like, oh, God. I was like, man. Oh. I'm so just, oh. I think the book I have is The Sun Also Rises. Wait, I thought you were. Sorry. All right. I guess I'll just The Crooked Painter. Yes, he's crooked. It's like the crooked man. It's about what is best in life. Christopher C. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, it's like, I'm always I've thought about going into one of those, like, just go out in the woods and read like spiritual texts at some point, but I don't know. I like Civilization a lot, so that would probably not go well for me. Just like get a bunch of like obscure, just go full Raph, grow like my long hair and. Oh wow, you're from Draw and Talk. Okay, yeah, I've forgot it. Yeah, I haven't talked to Tyler in a very long time. I actually saw him streaming the other day. I don't. God, I've been bad at keeping up with. I mean, I've been bad at keeping up with comics, man. Like, if you want to watch one of my really old videos, I actually did a comic review of his. Oh, thank you for super fun chat. No, well, I'm glad you hung out for a little bit, Helena. It was a good time. One of my yeah, I've been kind of, I don't know if any of you have ever had this before, but I'm kind of struggling with like what to read next recently. I'm just kind of picking up books to read at the moment. So, just so because I wanted to read Kindred at least for, Black History Month. I thought that would be a cool thing to do, because I like, I like broadening my horizons, like I said earlier. I did watch True Detective season 1 again, and mm-hmm. Black History Month in America, anyway, is in February. Yes, it's it's pretty much where because there were a lot of if I remember right, it's because there were a lot of activists who were born in February. I think I could be wrong. But yeah, it's basically where we celebrate, remember anyway. I don't know. We learned about it when I was in school, man. It's one of my it's a cold month, so they don't march. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It is God, it's been dreary here for the past couple days. It's been just oh man. Not a stupid question at all. I am a big my favorite superhero is Batman, so I have to say Batman. But if you couldn't tell from the shirt, I'm also a big Martian Manhunter fan. Love that character a lot. I think Martian Manhunter is freaking baller. Yeah, no, I actually got a subscription to DC, so they send me t-shirts. It's very nice. I got my last one was a Superman ugly sweater shirt, which, oh man, I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I do quite like that shirt a lot. I also got a Peacemaker shirt. I also have a soft spot for Jon Stewart. I do he was the first Green Lantern I knew, aside from before I ever knew who Hal Jordan was. I remember when I watched the Green Lantern movie, I was like, what the hell? Where's the black guy? This is bullshit, And then I learned, oh wait, no, he's the second Green Lantern. The first one is Hal Jordan. I wish my buddy Josh was here. He's a big Green Lantern nut. He loves Green Lantern a lot. But yes, Batman and Martian Manhunter are probably my favorite Justice League members. Though, if you watched the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, there's a lot of characters who showed up in that. I also like The Question because I'm a big Steve Ditko fan. Also, I really love that version of The Question. I think that what oh man, what's the actor's name? It's Jeffrey Combs. That's it. Fantastic. What if Gollum became a Green Lantern? Oh my God, that would just be that would be, oh God help us all. He would probably be like a Yellow Lantern, to be honest with you. Man, oh God, if Gollum became a Green Lantern, it would probably not be a fun time for the rest of the game. Yeah, no evil escape our sight, precious. It would probably be a disaster. The little green guys who are the boss, they would probably be like, Jesus Christ, what were they thinking when they got that? I don't know who that is, but I'll keep that in mind for sure. I do have some. He would have two. Oh God help us all if he gets 2 rings. He would just start cutting through everybody who has rings. He would just start murdering everybody. Like Sinestro wouldn't be safe from Gollum. He just, oh my gosh, that would just be, oh, that would be a disaster waiting to happen. All right. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to check him. I'll have to check him out at some point. Looking for something. Oh, like getting some notifications on my thing here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I mean, I hope that the, Mike fans don't show up and be like, he's talking shit about Mike, I was not. It's just, sometimes we disagree, and that's okay. What are some comics I want to read this year? There are comics I want to read. I do want to continue on Saga because I've caught up on Saga. I'm actually going to do a video about Saga at some point with a Saga character anyway, not necessarily just Saga in general that I'm looking forward to make. I really want to read Headlopper. I actually have it right over here. Want to try that out. I want to try The Goon because I really liked Hillbilly from Eric Powell. Is the YouTube book streaming a rough game? A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm still relatively small. Like if I got like Jimmy numbers, it would just be overwhelming. And it also seems that I'm competing with a couple people. I'm competing with Jimmy right now. And also I saw that Kay is also streaming right now. She's talking to an indie author. So I'm like, oh dear, Strange Girl. I've not actually heard of this, and I know about a lot of comics. So, I mean, if you want to pitch it real quick, feel free. Well, that name does sound familiar though, so maybe I have heard of it. Some other comics I want to read. Astro City. I showed you guys Astro City earlier. Luther Strode. The Luther Strode comics. My comic book guys are telling me to check out Luther Strode, so I really want to check that out. See what all the fuss is about. Kind of going back to my video series about that. I'm doing Fourth Wing because my audience wants to. Some of my audience really want me to just die on the inside. Oh, well, okay. I'll have to check that out. Take that beef to Twitter, farm some booktube drop. Come on, guys, yeah. I'm hoping that What's the Big Fuss and some of the new stuff I'm doing will get some stuff going. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It's definitely a what are some other comics though? I did get first big omnibus of Grant Morrison's Batman run. I've always wanted to read the Grant Morrison Batman. Never got around to it. I'm hoping maybe I can find some time to do that. Also finish Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan. Because I started that a few years ago, and then I stopped, and I got the omnibus, so I hope to just read through all of it. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Oh, we got Jake in here. Culture Bumpkin. How you doing, man? We were actually talking about Pride and Prejudice earlier. I was telling him to go check out your redneck take on Pride and Prejudice. Oh man, yeah. Check out Jake's channel. He's a cool dude. Also got a great channel. Yeah, some other stuff going on here. Oh yes, we do have yeah, because they're like, oh, are you gonna cover romantic books in February? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying here. And they're like, oh, Pride and Prejudice. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll follow along with Jake's reading along. And I was telling him to go check you out. So Strange Girl. I'll have to add that to my list, though. Let me look it up real quick. Strange Girl comic. Rick Remender. Okay, yeah, I like Rick Remender a lot. One of my favorite comics actually is actually Deadly Class. I love that comic. I that's another one I actually want to finish because I really enjoy that comic. I mean, if you want just a pure fun, like pure just off the walls, like great fun, I would highly recommend Deadly Class. It's a fantastic comic. Wes Craig is incredible, I think is a great artist. And Rick Remender is a pretty good writer, though I have read some of his other comics and I didn't feel quite as strongly. But all right. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Legends and Lattes. I wanted to check that out at some point. I was hoping maybe someone would bring it up on that's actually one of the books that inspired me to start What's the Big Fuss, because there's a lot of people who really there's a lot of people who like that book, and I want to see what you get the idea, hopefully. But yeah, I think yeah, that's one I hope someone brings up and they can vote on. Oh, Deadly Class by Rick Remender, and I'll put it in the chat actually. Deadly Class. They actually just recently put out an omnibus for it, so if you want to just pick it up, go ahead, feel free to. But fantastic comic. I mean, my God, it's so good. I'll have to, maybe I'll, that's another one I want to finish because it just wrapped up. Yeah, there's a couple of comics of his I wanted to read, like Fear Agent is one. I mean, I'll admit I'm a little on and off with Tony Moore, but I do think he's pretty good. Yeah, no, Deadly Class is probably one of my favorite things that Image Comics has done. I love it. It just, for some reason, it just, let me actually pull the first volume out at least so you can get what it looks like. Because oh dear. Yep. Got the single issues right there. Here is the first volume. I'm a real just I was one of those guys who got every single volume, so there you go. If you want to get the omnibus, that's fine. Yeah, the art in it though is incredible. I mean, look at that. It's so so good. And I mean, if you're not hooked at least by the first arc, which is this, you can stop reading it. But I would be very surprised if you were not like, I gotta see what happens next. Oh shit, man! Damn it. Ah, screw it. I'll mess with that later. I'll mess with that later. I'm just... Oh. Yeah, I mean, if I remember, yeah, Rick Remender, he's done a bunch of stuff. My God, that dude just cranks him. He's like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Rick Remender's kind of like Robert Kirkman. Dude just freaking cranks him out like it's nobody's business. He's just like, you're like, oh, here's this cool series. And he's just like, bam, 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 you know, like 3 more. You're like, Jesus. Or like Jeff Lemire. That dude freaking cranks him out like it's going out of style. Oh, I have read Hellboy. Great stuff. I really like the short stories a lot, though. I mean, the main story is pretty good. And I love the artwork, of course. Mike Mignola, man. Maybe I'll try BPRD at some point. I'm just kind of, you know, there was a part I binged, like I binged through. I like binged through Hellboy. Good time. Also, I've heard Baltimore is very good too. Isn't that about vampires? There we go. Sorry about that, me finagling with my comic collection. Also, if you like Dark Horse, Harrow County, great. Love Harrow County. It's a fantastic book. Great artwork, great story. I've only read the first 2 volumes, but yeah, those stuff is very good. I'll keep that in mind. That's interesting. Yeah, I've what's another comic I like? I mean, I'm really on and off with Kieran Gillen, but his, yes, it is the one with the skin. Man. I'm a bit, like I said, I'm a bit on and off with Kieran Gillen, but Once in Future, I've only read the first volume, but that first volume was very good. I really enjoyed myself when reading that. Again, I need to catch up with some of these comics I have here. Like I got the new Brubaker and Phillips stuff. Or I got the new book from Brubaker and Phillips. I haven't read that yet. I need to catch up on Monstrous and Descender. A lot of stuff. It's ridiculous. I also have Black Hammer up there. Indeed, but yes, indeed, Harrow County is the one with the skin. You're very right on that one. Very good. I read one of Cullen Bunn's books called Regression, which I thought was awful. I was like, that is not good. And then I read Harrow County, and I'm like, the hell is this? This is great. Like, where the hell was that when you were writing, Regression? It's weird how comics work, man. Like, yes, as a matter of fact, yes, King Arthur is in that, and he is a big meanie. And yeah, if I remember right, he is also a lich. So, yeah, I need to keep going on that one because that first volume was just banger. Like I was along for the ride. I mean, it's kind of weird with Gillen. Like his Darth Vader comic is exceptional, like exquisite, and then like he'll do something like, like Die, which is pretty good, but I have issues with the pacing. And the Wicked and the Divine is also a That was one I couldn't get into. I didn't really love the pacing of that one. I would agree. A lot of Vertigo is very good. I will add that. I might have that on my list because I really like Vertigo. But yeah, I agree. Vertigo is very good. A lot of my favorite comics are from Vertigo. Preacher, Transmetropolitan is from Vertigo, though it was kind of part of like another thing, but it's basically Vertigo. Sweet Tooth, and I liked American Vampire, though that's not my favorite Scott Snyder thing. That would be Witches. I freaking love Witches. What are some? I did read Philadelphia, and while I liked the artwork from Jason Sean Alexander, again, I had issues with the pacing. It's a weird thing about comics. Like, pacing in comics is such a weird thing. Yeah, that's funny you say that. I've heard that the ending is actually not that good. Because I have a buddy who was obsessed with it, and though to be fair, I think maybe he was disappointed because he was reading it as it was coming out, and I was like, maybe I'll try it, and yeah, I couldn't get into that for whatever reason. Same thing with Die. It was hard for me. I liked it, but I loved the idea. Maybe I'll read through Die to see how I feel. Like actually, because the whole thing is out now, so I might read the whole thing and see how it is. I have a buddy named Tig who loves it. He loves Die, loves Wiccan and the Divine. I think he likes Die more than the Wicked and the Divine. But yeah, maybe I'll try Wiccan and the Divine again at some point. See how it goes. I do know he did the Eternals because I've been really picky about Marvel and DC recently because, some of their stuff is a bit inconsistent, to be honest with you. Oh, Die? Yeah. It's just, D-I-E. D-I-E. There. It's basically like Jumanji, except with D&D, not the Jumanji game. The artwork is incredible. I just have to say that. Again, I had some issues with the pacing, but the art in that is exquisite. I mean, my God, let me get the one I have here. Where is it? Where is Die? Thought it was right here. Maybe I have it up here. Yep, there it is. There it is. Die from Kieran Gillen. If you want to look at the artwork, let me just find it real quick. Art is freaking incredible. Look at that. Just, oh, God. Get her and like Brian K. Vaughan together. Like, oh man, it's just so. Again, I might have to reread Die. So let me find another splash page here because she is just a freaking incredible. Stephanie Hans is her name. Incredible artist. I must say, now you're getting me all fired up to read Die again. Maybe I'll read through Die and see how it is. Well, I mean, it's I guess it's not that hard. I clean. Well, I try not to mess with them too much. I guess it's not that hard, but no, seriously though, the art is so good. God, I might just read through Die again just to go through the art because the art is just freaking incredible. I've heard a lot about Deathstalker. That's interesting. I'm really hoping to have that guy on my channel at some point because I also like his channel. He talks about a lot of sci-fi, and I really like sci-fi a lot. So, another like Die is kind of like Descender from Jeff Lemire. The art is just like it $100. Like, yeah, I mean, writing aside. Oh, it's Heidi in here now. Oh, I thought that was Tharnal. Yeah, I've heard Deathstalker is good. I haven't read it. But yeah. Let me just put up this comic now. Oh. But how are you, Heidi? If you're still in here, how have you been doing? She's really trying to get me into the Wheel of Time. See what my buddy Jacob has on the Twitter. Oh. Oh yes. Looks like Daredevil 4 again. I know I should. I mean, the real thing is that like a lot of comics like are long running, you know? Like I need to just like finish all of them. But yeah, that's I do want to do some more comic related videos. I am hoping to I'm going to tease some more stream content, but I'm hoping to get Carlos and Yolanda and maybe some other people, I don't know, and we just like hang out and talk about comics for a few hours. I would really like to do that. And I have shot that idea around to them, and they're for it, you know. I need to review more comics on my channel because, like, you know, I enjoy them a lot. And there are some great ones, I think. I have done a couple of comic videos. I did one on the Bendis Daredevil run, which is probably my favorite run on the character. So, you know, if you want me to spoil my thoughts on that, I've covered Sweet Tooth. I've covered I think I covered Brubaker. Maybe not. Covered Transmet. I did Transmet with my buddy Josh. That was a fun. I had to do it twice because the first one just sucked, and I hated that, and I hated how I performed, and also I didn't have editing software at that point, so came out in 2 parts. Not fun, and yeah, that didn't come out very well. Actually, yes, I have covered Brubaker. I covered the first Reckless comic on my channel. But yes, I do want to do more comic content. I'm looking forward to doing more comic book content because I do like them a lot. And I feel like comics are kind of underrepresented. You know, a lot of the booktubers want to read manga, and I'm not against manga. I've covered Pluto on my channel because, you know, I like Pluto a lot. I think that was probably my favorite comic I read last year. So, well, I look back at that video and I'm like, man, should Saga have been number 1? Because like Saga was the one that was like really got me going. But yeah, well, but yes, I would like to do more. I do want to catch up on some comics though, because I do enjoy them a lot. They're very good, you know, good stuff. What else? I mean, if you guys want to talk, what else do you guys have going here? Keep getting these bot accounts on Twitter following me. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I know they're ridiculous. I mean, I will say though, I'll admit a little hypocrisy here. I did go through. I've read a couple of manga. I've read Pluto. I've read Monster. Fantastic. I actually like Monster a lot more than Pluto, but I do like Monster a lot. I would love to make a video about Monster at some point. I have read a bit of Berserk and I liked it. A little extreme in points, but I think there's some fun stuff that you could do with oh, we got 7 likes on here, so thanks guys. I appreciate that you're liking it up, on Sunday I'm going to be doing my 50th episode of Britain's Hangout Hour, so if you want to ask me about the show and stuff like that or anything you want, feel free. Or actually I've also read a manhwa, which is like Korean manga called Bastard, which I was really enjoying. I mean, there's some goofy artwork and some pretty bad dialogue from time to time, but kind of like something like Saga or Deadly Class, it just keeps you coming back for more because I really love I really love comics that can keep you coming back and you want to know what happens next. And I think the best comics do that. It doesn't matter if it's manga or American or whatever. But yeah, I wanted to cover more comics on my channel because I didn't find a lot of people were doing it. I mean, StoryTube does it, which I appreciate, and John from Talking Story does it as well, which I also appreciate. I'm glad that there are people and also Matt from Matt on Books covers comics from time to time, which I also appreciate. Best manga I've ever read with the best art. I'll look that up. Fing Shin Ji. I'll have to check that out. 10. Oh, that is some nice artwork. Oh wait, is it in color? Because like one of the things that bugs me about like manga is that a lot of it's black and white, and there's great artists in manga like Naoki Urasawa. I would love to see in color. It's in color. All right, awesome. I'll add that to the list. I have a couple of manga on my list. Like there's one called Green Blood, which is a Western I would like to read. That looks like a lot of fun. It's also like 50 issues. That's like unheard of in a manga. That's like a pretty standard like American comics run. But like, that's like really short for like manga. But like the One Pieces and the Bleach, I don't know if I want to check those out, to be honest with you. I mean, I've heard One Piece is good, but that art style is freaking weird, man. Maybe there's some people who will convince me to get it at some point, but yeah, I'll add that to my list. Feng Shinji. All right, yeah, check it out. Yeah, there was one I remember. I was watching this guy. I forget his name. I'm reading Naruto. Naruto. I remember Naruto when I was a kid. I was like, man, like that Yu-Gi-Oh and like Pokemon were like that was the shit when I was a kid. I never really got into it. Thanks, Tom. I need to get you on for a podcast, man, at some point. But thank you very much for popping in and saying congrats. And thank you for complimenting the shirt. I'm a big Martian Manhunter fan. I mean, I might make a rant. Like, that's why I made my suggested comics video, because like I was kind of like, I want to give, like, if anyone's interested, and I actually want to do a superhero comic companion video. I want to do that soon. So speaking of comic videos, so there might be comic. Yeah, we'll do. We got to talk about that mustache at some point. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. I do want to do a suggested superhero comics at some point, because I do have some recommendations on that. I think there's some, if anyone is interested in superhero comics. I know superhero comics aren't really the most popular right now, but I think when superheroes are done really well, I think that there are some really great stories in the superhero genre. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna spoil which ones on here. So not gonna do that. So sorry, guys. Yeah, I would probably say my favorite manga artist, at least so far, is probably Naoki Urasawa, because like his characters actually look like people. It's kind of my like gripe with manga. It's like a lot of them. It's like bouncing off the freaking walls. Like, I don't know if you guys have read like One Piece, but like that art is freaking weird, man. It's fucking bizarre. Like like what's the kid's name? Luffy? Yeah, it's thank you, Shadowfire. I was a Marvel guy and I really wanted to read Invasion. I don't think I've heard of Invasion, but I do like Marvel as well. But yeah, no, the superhero video will be mainly about Marvel and DC, so don't worry. I'm not going to discriminate too much. I wonder if Shadowfire is a big anime fan, because I see that manga-esque, or not anime, manga, both. I don't know. Man, my buddy Epic Tales is a big manga fan, and he was telling me about some manga to read the other day. Yeah. But I'm not against manga. It's kind of funny. I used to think manga was kind of silly, which I know that's kind of rich coming from a guy who reads about superhero comics, as I like to say. But I don't know. It's just like, why the hell does everyone look like they're in their 20s? Like, for one, like, why do people? It's like there's some weird shit in there, man. Everyone looks like they're 12, and there's like I'll admit, my initial with manga was because of the fan base. I'll admit, because manga. If the manga fans, the weeaboos. In their 20s, grizzled veteran in manga. That sounds about right. I had friends when I was in middle school who were it's 13, 14. Yeah, I know, right? Like, everyone looks like they're in their oldest is 20s or 30s, maybe. I'm like, what the hell is this? Or 20s, at least 20s. It's I guess it's a guy who created Astro Boy's fault, because he was like the Stan Lee, Walt Disney of what Stan Lee is for American comics. Basically, I think his name's Tezeka. That guy was the Stan Lee of manga, What the fuck? I've not heard of that. No wonder it's so bizarre over there in Japan. Oh my god, 13? It's crazy. It's it's like Alabama out there. My god. That's so weird, man. I think the first manga I read through all the way was Death Note. And I actually like Death Note a lot. I mean, it does have the kind of anime tropes, but like I like it a lot. I think it's good. It's a great, like, that first half is really great. I think the second half's pretty good too, but I can see why people don't like the second half of Death Note. Then everyone's like, "Oh man, Berserk, bro." That's one of the things I like about Berserk. Like, people actually look, like they look like, not everyone's like 20. Maybe Guts a little bit. He does look like, for a guy who's like battle hardened, like, he does look pretty good. But aside from that, like, everyone looks like people for the most part, with exceptions, of course. And also, I take that back. I've also read Junji Ito a little bit. He's also quite bizarre. If you've ever read Junji Ito, if anyone in this chat has, man, that's weird, man. That's 13. That's blowing my mind right now. Yeah, I'll give you that. And to be fair, I finally like just said fuck it and read it last year. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I really wanted to sell people on it, I would just tell them to start with the Golden Arc first, the Golden Age arc, because that's really where the story begins. I mean, it kind of feels it because like when you read the first couple volumes, it kind of just feels like your kind of typical grimdark edgelord bullshit. And I'm like, well, I would just tell people to go to the Golden Arc and then read through that and then go back to the Black Swordsman arc. And yeah, sadly the guy died. And yeah, and I know that probably gutted a shitload of people because, I mean, God, that was going on for like 30 plus years, man. I mean, I can't even imagine just the freaking pace that guy was on. Like, I mean, God, I think Robert Kirkman goes on, Robert Kirkman goes on for a long time. Those guys in the fucking anime, dude, they go on for like 30 years. I'm like, dude, that's nuts. Well, I don't mean to like insult anybody, and it's just kind of when you read the first like Black Swordsman, you kind of, if you're like familiarized with like grimdark stuff, you're kind of rolling your eyes maybe a little bit, or at least that was for me. I mean, I thought it was fine, but it definitely, I'll put it this way, it definitely feels like a test out arc where he's like kind of finding his groove, if that makes sense. Or that's how it felt to me when I read it. I'm like, okay. And then I read the Golden Age arc, and I was like, all right, yeah. It looks like feels like there's a lot. I like this, Oh yeah, I also read Tokyo Ghost from Rick Remender. That was again, Rick Remender's an interesting guy. he's done a lot of interesting stuff. But yeah, no, it's but yeah, I think Urasawa was the one who's really stuck with me the most because, like, man, he's really good at what he does. And if anyone could recommend like manga with like more like kind of realistic artwork, I'm like, all right, maybe I could be down for that. Though you said though Thurnall said yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's manga with the more realistic artwork, or at least manga with the best artwork. I'll have to look that list up at some point because I'm like, man, like like I would say, like, if you've watched Matt on Books talk about manga, like it's kind of around the same way I feel about manga, like very picky, You know, some weird issues with the art. You know, it is what it is. I think it's Green Blood, isn't it? Green Blood manga. Yes, I am right. Okay, very good. Maybe I'll read that this year, since it's like my next manga, because I was trying to take a break from Urasawa. I'll have to add that. There was one anime I watched a while ago, because there was some anime I just sometimes just watch just to kind of bask in the absurdity. It's Bobobo. It's about a guy who fights crime with his nose hair. It's very ridiculous stuff, but I quite enjoyed myself when when I was reading it. Oh wait, I think I've heard of this. Wasn't this a movie? It's very specific. This comic, leading people to assume that he's a delinquent and heroin addict, and unbeknownst to himself, resulted a career as the head thug. Wow, that is kind of sad. I might check that out. Yeah, because the evil emperor proclaimed that everyone must be bald. It's great. I love that. It's so stupid, but I like it. It's sometimes you got to sit down and bask in the stupidness, and like the main bad guy kind of looks like Grant Morrison. It's good. It's fun. Some other bad shit. Like, there was a period of my life where I was kind of sitting through like a lot of just bizarre out there anime. It was high school was a weird time, man. Oh, well, I just looked up Angel Densetsu. It was a manga. Oh, are you talking about Bo? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of those. I was surprised that Cowboy Bebop was a manga, because I'm like, I mean, my favorite anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop. No, I got that. Yeah, you meant Bobo. But yeah, my favorite anime, which is also like in my top 5 favorite shows of all time, is Cowboy Bebop. Love it. I think it's really one of the first it's one of the first comics, or it was one of the first anime I saw that really was like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about anime, and it's still my favorite. Like, I don't know if you've ever had that thing that was made specifically for you, but like Cowboy Bebop is that for me. Like, it has all the stuff that I really love in just media. And it's it's great. It's great. I think it's a masterpiece. And my friends keep getting after me to watch Samurai Champloo. I still need to see that. I haven't gotten around to it. It's Friday, and my next D&D session is tomorrow. They told me to watch Samurai Champloo. Fuck me. That's gonna suck. And tomorrow I have to get up at 9 in the morning for a chat about if fantasy can be considered literature. Spoilers right now, I think it is. I think it can be. At least there's some manga. I try not to knock on anything until I watch it. That's the golden zone. Yeah, I mean, I talked with a guy named AJP on my podcast about June of last year. Interesting guy. Because orcs don't oh my god. Like Judge Holden doesn't exist either, and people call that great literature. Oh my god. That's funny. That's funny. Man. Oh, that's very funny. I've seen a lot of really God, I've heard a lot of dumb arguments like that before. Like, I mean, you look at Twitter, my guy, and it is my friends here, whoever's watching. And like, my God, they'll go at it over the stupidest things. Like, I was watching some stuff about, there was some lady on the indie author sphere that was like complaining about, oh geez, what was she complaining about? She was complaining about people giving ratings lower than 3 stars, and I was like, yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's about right. So yeah, I mean, I was gonna have Jordan on there from iWizard, but he couldn't join because he's really busy. He's a teacher, fun stuff like that. I hope to get on. I hope to talk with him again because he's an interesting guy. But yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, one's cancer, one's a dragon. Oh man, what do you think about dragons? I think dragons are kind of played out. I mean, I like dragons. Dragons are cool, but like I mean, I read Game of Thrones. I was like, okay, all right, I got my dragon fix. Like, I took that into my veins. Like. Oh, here are my floppies that I got here. I haven't read any of these because I don't tend to read floppies. But let's see. I got the Extremist. Yeah, I don't read them up. Oh, put you right there. Yeah, no, I guess a lot of people are kind of, like, oh yeah, dragons are fun, but yes, but yeah, well, let's think, yeah. Um. Well, we've been going on for 2 hours, and I have been having a good time, but I do need to get something to eat soon, so I'm probably going to just end it here. Thank you. But yeah, no, I guess that's kind of it's kind of it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I enjoyed hearing from all of you who showed up. You can find me on Twitter at SomeOkieDude. You can also find me on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. And you can also find me on You can also find me on Discord if you want to come talk to me on there. Well, yeah. I haven't actually read Fear Agent or Greenblood, so if you read those before me, let me know what you think. But yeah, again, thank you all for showing up. I do have another stream coming up this Sunday, so 2 days from now. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Central Time. You can come hang out with me and ask me about anything regarding the podcast I've been running on my channel. All that fun stuff. And also just, kind of what we were doing here. Just ask me about anything, book or comic related. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. But yeah, thank you all for coming on. I think it's just me and Tharnal at this point. I'm going to see if Chatting with Nuts is still on. So yeah, but also I'm going to get something to eat. So yeah, thank you all for coming on. I will see you guys later. See you on Sunday.